So the Dacia Academy teams are up and running for 2021. Jason Ryan told us last week about the restructuring work that has happened behind the scenes over the past year. And delighted to be joined on the line now by the man who will take charge of the under-14s this season. That's All-Ireland winning minor and under-21 manager at Waterford, Sean Power. And Sean, great to speak to you once again. I suppose this is going back to where you all started with Waterford. How did this all come about?
Hi, Tomas. Yeah, good to talk to you too. Well, actually, it was it's something that Jonathan Moore is coordinating the hurling side of the academy teams, and he approached me there a couple of months back to see what I'd be interested in getting involved. You know, I have very, very fond memories from when we initially got involved in 2007, I think it was, with regional teams up to 2008, Sonny Wedge, 2009, Tony Forrester, and we had good times and made some great friends. And I always had fond memories of my time with the former, what we're calling academy now, was formerly development squads. And it was something that, I'm happy to do what I can for Waterford hurling. And if this is what needs to be done for me to go back and see what I can give to the under 14 bracket of players, I'm happy to do that, and willing to throw myself in to see where I can assist. So Jonathan approached me a few weeks back, a couple of months back, and said, have I capacity and would I be interested? And I said absolutely. So and he kind of gave me a broad stroke of what the new plan was for the academy teams, which all sounded very good. So happy to row in and see where I can help.
And can you just remind us, Sean, about that Tony Forrester group you were involved with back in 2009?
Oh yeah, so we kind of got in back in 2009. If you look at it in a kind of in a cycle, Tomas, we kind of, what we did when we started in 2007, we broke the county up into, East Urban, and then East Rural, and then, Mid County, and then West of the county. And between 2007 and 2008 and up to 2009, we put together an A and a B squad for Waterford under 14. We had a very good crop of hurlers come through at that time. The 2009 Tony Forrester competition was, I remember the Saturday morning in Mount Simon when we started. We had Offaly in the first game, and it was early in the morning, and the squad were very excited and couldn't wait to get going. And you send them out in the field, and you're kind of praying that you've done enough with them, because you don't really know till the ball is thrown in competition. They're young lads, and there is a small bit of pressure when you're playing a competition like that on your home soil, and there's a bit of a crowd there, and sometimes it's for some of them it's the first time they have a little bit of a crowd looking at them, and you hope they'll deal with the small bit of pressure they're put under. And the Water team went out, and we hockeyed Offaly. It was something that I always thought there was a special bunch there with them. They were a pleasure to deal with, and I hope that they kind of got the rewards of the work that they put in. But sure enough, then they did. So we played Galway after we played Offaly. A very, very good game of hurling. We drew with Galway, for years on. Then we would bump into Galway for the next kind of, 7 or 8 years over the ages. And we ended up going through the competition. We beat Wexford in the semi-final and got to the final ultimately against Tipperary. And we're beaten by Tipperary in the final. So I remember after the game, guys were heartbroken. The players were in bits, because it's a tough weekend on the body, and they gave it their all, and it's hard to be beaten in a final, and it was an All-Ireland final at the time, but they learned from it, and that team was littered with some of our senior stars at the moment. So we had Austin playing, Stephen Bennett was playing, DJ was playing, Mikey Carney. We centred it around only under 14s for the year. So Tom Devine was on that team as well, Adam Farrell, who so it was a very, very good group of players. And it was lovely to see that in 7 or 8 years after that, that 5 or 6 of them were playing the senior with Waterford, and that in one respect is what it was all about. It's very hard on kids to lose a final like that, but it's not the end of the world. They learn from it, and as long as they're learning, that's what we want in Waterford. And the fact that so many of them went on to play senior with Waterford, it was a good showing for us. So good year, good fun, and I hopefully they learn something from it. Yeah.
Is that still the objective, Sean? Not just winning silverware at those under 14, under 15, under 16 grades, but to make sure that when they start off at under 14, that these players eventually filter through to senior level? Yeah,
in one sense it is. Yeah, I mean, I would always say that in a broader sense, if you look at this at being somewhat the bottom of an intercounty triangle, Tomas, with your apex being you're playing senior intercounty with Waterford, and the very top of the triangle then is an All Ireland medal, right? We're probably the lowest at the lowest rung of that triangle, and within that, then it's from what I see is about providing the players with the training and the equipment in respect of their athletic development and the hurling development to deal with quality opposition you're playing against, and pressure when it comes on you in a match situation, to deal with it. And if you learn to deal with it at an early age, and your body is adapted to compete, and your skill levels are adapted to compete, then it's a good starting base for you to move forward. So yeah, it's lovely to win championships and medals and things like that. Of course it is, and an adult intercounty player is no different from an under 14 in that respect. Everyone wants to win, but if you don't win, it's not the end of the world. It's all about learning, and I think all of the coaches involved and everyone involved in Waterford GA would sacrifice underage teams competing, but ultimately getting better in order for us to win the big trophy, which is what we're all aiming for, who's involved here. So again, I say that in reality, players love to win, but it's not to be all and end all, and it's more about getting them ready for bigger challenges ahead, I would say.
You mentioned there, Sean, about going back to the bottom of the triangle with the under-14s. Like, you enjoyed so many big days in Crow Park, in Welsh Park, in Semple Stadium with that crop of players that you've just spoken about with mine and under-21. What was your own motivation in getting back involved with under-14s this year?
Well, as I said to Moss, I'm an absolute, at my core is Waterford hurling, and I've said this time and time again, anything Sean Power can do to help, he will do to help Waterford's development, and I mean that. So, and if my spot in the jigsaw of it all is that under 14 academy level coach, then provided I do my job, it will make our ultimate goal easier to attain. So, in one sense, to us, we're all part of a very, very big team on this, and I think that if my job in this team is to get the players ready with my fellow coaches at under 14 at the bottom rung of the triangle, as we call it, then I will do that happily and merrily and to the very best of my ability. So that's what I intend to do.
And who will be assisting you, Sean, with the under 14s this year?
So it's we have a great team there, Tomas. It's we have some wealth of knowledge and experience. Ger Fitzpatrick is kind of heading up and supervising the group, and then on the coaching side we have Kieran O'Gorman, Brian Partridge, Vincent Codd, Tony McMurrow and Eddie Barrett, and then on the conditioning and the athletic side we have Tom Mansfield, Sean Cleary and Michael Cronin. So plenty of good people involved that will that are eager to give what they have to the cause, and it's great to have such experienced and good coaches around me as well. So it's brilliant that there's some quality people have given up their time to do this.
And you must be delighted to have Derek McGrath and also Peter Quealy to feed off as mentors for the under-14 squad, Sean.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a very good idea. It's a concept that the guys came up with, that you have someone like a consultant at the end of the phone that you can pick up the phone to whenever you need to. And it's great that Derek and Peter Queally are giving up their time for our group. And then you have Doxer with the 15s, and I think Fergal Hartleys with the 16s as well. So and that will only lead to the players getting more from it and learning and hopefully enjoying it. Remember, it's all about enjoyment when you're 14 years old, and we want them to come to Waterford training and go home and say, that was brilliant, I really enjoyed it and can't wait to go back again next Friday.
Yeah, you just took the words out of my mouth, Sean, because I was just going to mention that the enjoyment factor has been really part and parcel of all the teams you've been involved with over the years, and that's clearly still a big part of your own philosophy on the game.
Of course it is, the most. You have to remember that there are so many pressures that go hand in hand with life at the moment, and with young teenagers as well, and the way the world is with social media as well. It's a big bad world out there, and your respite could be sport. Sport plays a huge part and should play a huge part where it can in adolescents' lives. And I always found that we ultimately will get more from it if kids are enjoying it, and if they enjoy it, they'll come back. And it must be about enjoyment. That's what it's there for. Ultimately, we all must remember that when we talk about sport, that only one team can win a competition. That doesn't mean the team that didn't get to a knockout stage didn't enjoy it, and that's what it's all about ultimately. And I'll be doing my utmost to make sure that these guys enjoy it. And come back for more, and if we can increase our player base in Waterford around GAA, then we'll get more out of it ultimately, and a happier, healthier kid will be more of a benefit to society as a whole. So that's my philosophical point of view on it, Tomas, but very important, I must say.
Yeah, very well said, Sean. And just have a couple of questions to ask you, Sean, about the Waterford senior team at the moment. Like, looking back to last year's championship, how much pride did you take in seeing Stephen Bennett really deliver on the potential he showed at minor and under 21, and ultimately picking up his first All-Star?
Really proud of him. He's focused his attention and worked very, very hard to get where he is, and that's there for Waterford young players. And I'll be saying that when I get the opportunity, that Stephen went through the ranks of the development squads. He worked at it. He stuck at it. At 17 went through those hip operations as well. No, sorry, at 20 went through those hip operations as well. Had his own fair share of heartache with injury and other matters go with things, team selections and stuff, but stuck with it, and you get your reward if you stick with it. I couldn't be happier for him. Now, I would have loved to have seen him win Hurler of the Year, of course. I would have loved to have seen him win his first senior All-Ireland medal, but we're not a million miles off that. And testimony to the guy. He's a role model for Waterford young lads, and hats off to him. But he worked very hard for it. But I'm immensely proud of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Liam Cahill will be getting back to work next week, Sean, when inter-county teams are able to resume training. What have you made of the job that he has done over the past year with Waterford?
Well, I always think that if you talk to the players, you'll kind of get a good feeling on what they found of a coach or a manager, and they're all very happy with him. They're all enjoyed it. They, Michael Bevins and himself work very well with the players. I believe that the communication between player and management is exceptional. From talking to Liam himself, he's very happy with the effort and the aptitude and the application of the players as well. So they seem to be getting a lot out of him, and in turn they're giving their own back. So it seems we made some progress last year. Ultimately, we fell short at the very, very end against a very good Limerick team, we must say. But progress is progress, and we must take that on board, and hopefully we can, if we go one further tomorrow this year, we've done it. For the first time since 1969. 1959. I'm adding decades in hope, but like if we go one step further, it'll be just fantastic for all the efforts that have gone in over the years. But there's a long road to go, and I know individually they've been working hard on their own programs, and we're all eager to see where we when we get back to how we go. But there's no reason why we can't take that next massive step and bridge that long gap.
Well, Sean Power, thanks so much for your time today, and all the best with the under-14s later on this season.
Thanks a million, Tomas. Take care.
2:18 to 15 points. The subs are on their feet. They're down out of the stand. They're ready to applaud. The crowd are in behind the goal. It goes over the bar. It goes. Perfect ending to a perfect evening. Austin Gleeson says it all with that free. Tonight was Waterford's night, literally from flagfall. Had a few frights before half time, but in the second half there was only one team. It's 2:18 to 15 points. And the cup, it's all over. And Waterford are Munster champions for a fourth time. 74, 92, 94. And now Sean Power's medal 2016 on a final scoreline 2:19 to 15 points. What a night for Waterford, and what a sight to see. Hundreds and hundreds of young kids and adults, blue and white, heading onto the pitch.
Blue and white. We are blue and white. We are WLR.
Well, this weekend marks the 1 year anniversary of the death of All-Ireland winner in 1959 with Waterford, Joe Harney. And the Harney family have been in touch to say that a memorial mass will be live streamed on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. And that will be available on abgparish.ie. So the memorial mass for All-Ireland winner in 1959, Joe Harney, 7 o'clock on Saturday. And that's available on abgparish.ie.
Lorna Porca with Tomas McCarthy on WLR.